One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Hello, everybody.
Indy is here. This is Indy. She has an apron for you.
And good job on your first day.
I think I should take
President Trump.
Should I take off my jacket? I think so. The press wants to see this. Oh, he's a wealthy guy. He owns a lot of McDonald's. That's great. Thank you. Okay. I think it's good. You want to do it? Yeah.
Mr. Trump, what's your favorite thing to order at McDonald's?
I like it all. I like every ounce of it, everything. But I do like the French fries where I'll be working. I listened to Kamala. She said it was so hot. It was so hot. It was such a tough job. But don't you have a man that's been doing it for many years with the French fries, right?
We're going to learn everything.
I'm going to learn how to do it right now. Thank you.
Welcome here.
Got about 10,000 people out there. That's a big crowd, huh?
Mr. Trump, why did you feel it was important to come here today?
I love McDonald's. I love jobs. I like to see good jobs. And I think it's inappropriate when somebody puts down all over the place that she worked at McDonald's. It was a big part of her resume that she worked at McDonald's, how tough a job it was. She specifically worked at the French fry, where they make the French fries, and she talked about the heat. It was so tough. She never worked at McDonald's. McDonald's just confirmed that again, by the way. She never worked at McDonald's.
To all beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a Saturday special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions. very special sauce. Beef cheese, it's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's.
Ooh, the most epic political trolling of all time. That's what you just watched. You just watched him destroy Kamala Harris, and it is being reflected in the numbers. He became so much more relatable. And as you watched that and you saw the crowds outside, you would think the Stones were playing in concert or something. I don't even know how many people lined the streets to come see Trump work at a McDonald's. And in the process thereof, it caused the left to completely lose their mind. I mean, completely lose their mind. Let me show you a little bit of what's been going on with this crazy left. Somebody at Newsweek, failing fake news rag as Trump would call it, decided they were going to do a little digging. And they found out that there's an inspection report for the McDonald's restaurant in Pennsylvania that Trump went to. They were cited for not having hands clean and properly washed. Just imagine for a second, you are a reporter, and you've decided it's in your reader's best interest to know that some time ago, the restaurant that Trump was at, they were cited because their hands weren't washed. That's probably the best indication that you have that the media has completely gone berserk. They've completely lost it. Here's another one. And if you don't know who this guy is, let me pronounce his name correctly. Cenk Uygur. He's with the Young Turks, which is not a right-wing outfit. They are basically as left as you can be at this point, although he's beginning to seem somewhat moderate compared to the nuts on the left. And he wrote, some in the press, as you just saw, called Trump's McDonald's photo op bizarre. This is how you lose credibility. That was a home run photo op. He looked like a real person there, which he doesn't have to look like. He actually is a real person. So, not really sure what you meant. He was connecting with the average American. If you can't see that, you're totally blind. He followed up by saying, yes, he weirdly insists that Kamala Harris didn't work at McDonald's when she was younger. That's been confirmed by her friends at the time. Really? Besides, no one thinks to make up outrageous lies like that other than Trump. But that's not what people are going to take away from this. Except for the fact that she did indeed lie. And she may have had her friends cover up for her, making it even worse. So, how do we know this? We know this because I'm going to show you in a second. I don't want to get ahead of myself here. I want you to see the rest of this video that we will comment on. Then we're going to talk about her faking her application. And what you're watching is Trump basically getting his outfit at McDonald's. Young lady helping him put on his apron. And this just made the left seethe. They were just absolutely ravenous with anger. They're asking Trump, what's your favorite food to order? He's like, I like it all, which I'm sure makes RFK Jr.'s head spin a little bit. But the guy is being personable, absolutely personable. We all know he loves McDonald's.
Thank you.
Welcome here.
All smiles.
So President Trump, I have.
And they're walking him through the restaurant. I don't know if you guys have seen all this back door footage, but this is him right now getting basically trained on how to use the fry-o-lator at McDonald's. And so this young gentleman who works at McDonald's gets the honor of instructing the president how to use the fry machine. And what I found most interesting as I watched that is he took it seriously. He wanted to learn how to do it. I mean, the guy's telling him, stick it in the oil here, watch out, don't let it spatter, it's really hot, this could happen to you. And he's actually trying to do it correctly. Looking at the timer, understanding all that this guy goes through. Any of you who have worked in a restaurant or even a bar, you call this shadowing. You have to shadow somebody who's been doing the job. That's how you learn how to do the job. And he's basically learning how to do it. And he goes through the entire line. Now he's in the drive-thru and he's meeting people. Now, what I found interesting about this...
This is not a normal situation, is it?
What I found interesting about this is that they complained and they complained and they complained. Oh, this wasn't real. It was staged. You know, that they really weren't open. Duh, you really think so? Obviously, you idiots. Even Brian Potato Head Stelter for CNN had to put out a post where he told people this wasn't real. It was staged. Sort of like, you know, when certain celebrities and politicians go out and throw the first pitch of a baseball game. It's not really the first pitch. You know, it's ceremonial. There's no batter. There's nobody on base. You know, they're just throwing the ball. But I guess they forget that because this is Trump. And Trump can't do anything, you know, basically figuratively. It has to be literally. And they absolutely lost their minds over it. I mean, it was pathetic. Absolutely pathetic.
Good-looking family. How did you produce those good-looking kids? Oh, they look like the what? Our years. Thank you.
Right. He appreciate all the good order right here.
Thank you. And there'll be no charge. Trump is paying for it. Is that okay? Oh, you ordered some extra stuff.
Oh, okay, great.
This is all on Trump.
Oh, hold on.
I'm allowed to do that, right?
Yeah. Let's check and make sure it's everything you said it would be.
It's better be. It's going to be the best yet. I made it myself.
You're the man. Make America great.
That's it, right. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good time. Have a good time.
I always like to wait 24 to 48 hours. You guys know that's my MO. Because I like to see, I don't just want to beat everybody and just get it out there. I'd rather, you know, get a video and then be able to point certain things out to you. And one of the things that I wanted to point out was how genuinely thankful he was. I mean, he's thanking these people, even though it's staged, even though it's a photo op, even though it's a political stunt. He's actually thanking the people who are coming through the drive-thru. Now, they weren't so much staged. They were told that they'd have the opportunity to meet the president, and they were ecstatic. They were absolutely ecstatic. So I don't know why people got so upset.
That's great.
Well, actually, I do. We got to hear what he says here. This is interesting.
Never touches the human hand.
Very good.
Nice and full.
All right, so hear what he said. He goes, it never touches the human hand. It's nice and full. He's repeating the instructions that this young man has given to him. Don't touch the French fries because you're going to basically contaminate them. Never let it touch the human hand. Make it full. That's what we all have done when we have learned how to do a job. He took it that seriously where he's repeating what he learned, the instructions that he was given.
Good. It's cute. This is fun. I could do this all day. I wouldn't mind this job. I like this job. I think I might come back and do it again.
Thank you.
Compliments of Trump, okay?
Yeah.
All right, so this woman is from Brazil. She's ecstatic to see Trump. Listen to what she says to him.
Thank you. Mr. President,
Yes.
please don't let the United States become Brazil, my native Brazil.
We'll keep it good.
Please.
We're going to make it better than ever, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure, Mr.
Compliments
President.
of Trump.
What she said, in case you didn't hear, she's like, please, please, please don't make the United States become Brazil. These are people who have come from these other countries and like, no, this is why we came here. Kamala doesn't understand it. That's why so many real immigrants flocked here, because they didn't like what was happening in these other countries.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you over there. Have a good time.
Thank
Nice
you.
to see you. It's a great franchise. It's a great...
And so here he's actually behind the drive-thru window talking to the press that are across the driveway there, across the, where the pickup window is, taking pictures and asking him questions.
company, and they've been very, very nice. And And come on, you know, if you look at really what's happening, look at the crowd over there. Look how happy everybody is. They're happy because they want hope. They need hope. And that's what we're doing. That's what we're going to give.
Mr. President, you actually have worked at McDonald's now versus...
Now I have worked at McDonald's. I've now worked for 15 minutes more than Kamala.
Are you going to put this on your
I
resume?
never worked here.
Why would she lie about
15
something
minutes more than
like that?
Kamala.
Will it be put on your resume?
Worked at McDonald's.
Why would she lie about
Say,
that?
Why? Because she's lying, Kamala.
Because she's a liar.
It's an amazing business. It's an amazing country. And we're going to make America greater than ever before. We're going to do it.
Are you going to see Aaron
Like
Rodgers?
Look at the enthusiasm. I mean, that's thousands of people over there. They go miles back. That's it.
You notice none of them pan. They don't want to show the crowd of what you saw earlier, lined, the street absolutely lined with people.
Incredible. So, we're going to do it, and it should be a good game. And, yeah, good team. They have a great coach. It's great. Oh, you're very stingy with that product. Look at
Now I can see a GM or a manager of the store go, no, that's what we're supposed to put in. He's like, you need to put more stuff in here. These people need more food.
that. She's a good worker. You want to have. That's the kind of people you want to have work. She gave them one fresh fry to 30 reporters outside.
Would you like two in a bag?
Two in a bag, yeah. Okay. Two in a bag. Touch.
What I like are the small details that he talks about. And there's one here at the end which you can't fake.
By a human hand. Nice and clean. My hands are nice and clean. This guy's a good instructor. I appreciate it. Wow. I'm going to give a really big one so that, look at that, they're just pouring out of it. How good is that, Margot? Here, Margot, have them. Okay, these are nice people we're meeting.
Okay, this is the guy.
Hey, look at this guy. I'm not going to mess with him, huh? How you doing, sir? Fantastic. Hello. How are you? Your new baby. How are you? Doing great. How are you? So this is compliments of me, okay? All right. You go have a good time.
Listen to what he says to this next guy.
You have a great day. Thank you, man. You take care. Thank you, honey. Have a good time. Thank you. I could do this all day. I wouldn't mind this job. I like this job. I think I might come back and do it again.
Thank you.
Look at that.
All right. So this exchange to me is the money shot. This is what it was worth to have this. You won't see this being pointed out by many, if anybody. But I want you to listen to this literally 10-second exchange that he has with this gentleman. Because it's not something that's scripted. Even though you're in a scripted event, what he says to this gentleman here is something that you would say to a player on your team if you were a coach. It's something you might want to impart to your children. It's that important, and it's so freaking natural to Donald Trump. Listen closely. I'm going to turn it up. I want you to listen specifically what he says to this guy.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Guy's obviously an immigrant.
You made it possible for ordinary people like us to meet you.
You're not ordinary.
I mean, thank you so much
You
for
are not
everything you're
ordinary.
doing.
Did you hear that? The guy goes, you've made it possible for ordinary people like me. And Trump stops in mid-sentence and goes, no, you're not ordinary. There's no script. There's no teleprompter. That just came from inside that man to tell somebody, don't diminish yourself to that kind of a level.
You can see.
We pray for you, and you are the type of person we want to be the president.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
So nice.
Taking the bullet for
Thank you very much. Yeah, I took a bullet. That's right.
Thank you, Mr. President.
When you think about it, I guess that's right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
See, that might not mean a lot to a lot of people. Me being an athlete, or rather former athlete, it's been a long time since I've played. But having someone tell you, you can do this, man. You are it. That's why you're here. You're part of this team because we know you can do it. Don't get yourself down. And Trump, running businesses, instinctively said to that man, you're not ordinary. Don't think of yourself as ordinary. And I thought that encapsulated everything. That is why I believe the left is losing their flipping mind today. They're going absolutely nuts because the one thing that Kamala isn't is authentic. See, in the midst of a political stunt, in the midst of basically doing something to basically promote his presidential candidacy, he says something that is profoundly authentic. He just stopped the man in mid-sentence. You're not ordinary. Don't ever consider yourself ordinary. I'm telling you, don't ever consider yourself ordinary. If people haven't built you up, if people haven't said to you, hey, listen, you are deserving, you are worthy. And that's what he just said to that man. And I guarantee you that man will take that to the grave. The president, former president, however you want to acknowledge him, looked him in the face, held the food. I want to tell you this, man. You ain't ordinary. And he looked him in the eye and said that. So I may be making a big deal to you, but I know every single coach that I've ever played for, every manager, every vice president, CEO that instructed me and looked me in the eye and said, you can do this, are the things that made me and the things that I've taken as I've gotten older and things I hope to impart on my grandchildren. That's huge. So how bad is the media freaking out? Listen to this crap. Here's some crapola for you.
Trump also stopped by a McDonald's in Bucks County today where he worked briefly as a fry cooker. Without a hairnet, I might add. He also said he was paying for some of the meals. How is that not a campaign finance violation? Anyway, when Trump showed up, he once again falsely claimed that Vice President Harris lied about working at McDonald's as a college student. You know,
he falsely claimed that Kamala Harris didn't work at McDonald's as a college student. Now, MSNBC can say whatever they want. There is no such thing as misinformation on MSNBC. No, they've got the free pass from these guys and Zuckerberg and everybody else. Say whatever you want. In fact, you always put out Al Sharpton, who's probably the master purveyor of misinformation. That, and of course, the queen of misinformation is Joy Reid. They're allowed to say whatever they want on any network, how often they want, no matter what it says, no matter how denigrating you can go along with your Hitlerian description of Trump. Doesn't matter. You and I can't do that. We're held to a completely different standard. And I think that's what's pissing them off, is because Elon Musk is making it so that we're not. But there's a surprise waiting for Mr. Fluffy Pants here. Listen to what he said. He finishes here. I'm going to show you something.
It's kind of hilarious how Harris is so living large, rent-free in Trump's strangely coiffed head.
So you're telling your audience that Kamala is living rent-free in Trump's head. Meanwhile, you weren't at this event, and you chose to make it a segment on your little watched show. But yet, Trump's the one who's got, things hanging out in his head. Check yourself before you wreck yourself, bro. You just gave yourself away. You're worried about Kamala being in Trump's head when he's in yours.
That he felt it necessary to put on this political stunt.
All right, so what you're looking at here, I may have to go to full screen so you can see it. This is the letter that McDonald's corporate put out. And it's a long, beautiful letter. Whoever the marketing person that did this is fantastic. But I want to bring your attention to what's highlighted in the yellow. In the yellow, it says, and I quote, "Though we are not a political brand, we've been proud to hear former President Trump's love for McDonald's and Vice President Harris's fond memories working under the arches. While we and our franchises don't have records for all positions dating back to early 1980s, she wasn't in the records. She's not there. They went back to the 80s. Can't find anything. McDonald's corporate just went ahead and letting people know. They didn't say the word lie. They were a little bit more, had a little bit more decorum than that. But they basically said she lied. Yet the guy from MSNBC said Trump's lying. So let's further provide some evidence so you guys don't think we're just BSing here. So the Free Beacon, which is a website, article, whatever, they did some digging, and they said the Free Beacon also obtained a copy of Kamala Harris's October 1987 job application for let me put on big screen so I can see, for a law clerk position in the Alameda County District Attorney's Office. On that form, Harris, who was in law school at the time, listed several jobs, including a month-long clerical job at a stock brokerage. In a section that asked to list every position she held in the last 10 years, McDonald's is absent. So people, she obviously didn't realize that there's stuff in the past back there that she didn't know about. And so here was the gentleman from the Free Beacon who found this stuff, and it says, people are like, oh, it doesn't really mean anything. Oh, yes, it does, sir. I beg to correct you. When you're applying for a job at the DA's office or FBI, it's not optional to exclude other positions. They want to know everything about you. You are told to list all employers, however relevant you may think they are or not. This is why she included a 1-month internship when she talked about the stock brokerage. And here are all the jobs that she talked about all the way back to 1985 when she worked in the Federal Trade Commission as a student assistant. She lists no other job. At Charles Schwab in 1986, she was an operator. And in 1987, she worked for a law firm. I believe that was Slick Willie's. And she was a clerk. No mention whatsoever of McDonald's in her work history. So take it for what you want. This was the biggest political move in history, and the left have nothing to do but weep and cry and bemoan. They can't match this. And as we said earlier, some of you guys were here, people, let me just show you some of this stuff. Libs, I am laughing at you, all of you who are melting down over Trump working at McDonald's today. You are so obsessed with hating everything he does. It's both hilarious and pathetic at the same time. Hating Trump, no matter what he does, is your life's purpose. Without Trump to hate, you have absolutely nothing to do. Like it or not, your life revolves around Donald Trump. I'm laughing at you. We all are. Keep this up. It's great entertainment. Perfect. They realize she's doomed. Doomed, I tell you. And just so you guys know, and I'll put it up here again. I refresh it often. I'll check it again at the end of the show. But the poly market number is now 61.7 to 38.2. She's circling the bull, people. She's absolutely circling the bull, and they can't do anything to pull her out of it. So Donald Trump is due to talk in 2 minutes. I timed that perfectly. Let me take a few comments. Before I go to comments, let me just tell you guys what to do here. We're giving away hoodies again. If you want to win a hoodie, go to to register to win a hoodie, go to fanfareshop.org. Fanfareshop.org. If it doesn't work for you, try again. We get a lot of traffic, and sometimes because they weed out spam, your email may not work. But a whole bunch of people have entered. In addition, if you want to join our private group on X, go to fanfareshop.org/group. Join. It says 4,000, but we are on the cusp of being 5,000 people strong over there in a private, safe group where you're not going to get any trolls, or if there are any trolls, they get bounced pretty quickly. All right, pretty quickly. So we're waiting on Trump to come out. They're doing some speakers. Greenville looks like a packed house. Let me see if somebody notable comes up. Oh, I got to take this guy. Every time I see this guy, I got to take him. Stephen Miller's walking out. I'm sure he's going to light this place on fire again. Let's just listen to what Stephen Miller is going to say. He's walking to the stage right now. Boom. And music.
Carolina, can you feel the momentum?
Oh yeah, we can feel it. I feel it.
In just 2 weeks from now, this nightmare ends, this misery is over. 4 years of betrayal, 4 years of failure, 4 years of disappointment, 4 years of inflation, 4 years of illegal immigration, 4 years of losing your country stops, and America is back, and America is strong and free and proud again. And one of the first things that Donald Trump will do when he gets back into the White House is he's going to tell FEMA, your job is to take care of Americans, not illegal aliens. And then Donald Trump is going to tell DHS, you're going to seal the damn border shut, you're going to send the illegal aliens home, and America will be safe again. Now, my good friend Peter talked to you about trade, about outsourcing, about manufacturing. The jobs of this state were ripped out and stolen from you by politicians, by globalists like Kamala Harris year after year after year after year. When Donald Trump comes back into the White House, all those factories are coming out of China, they're coming out of Vietnam, they're coming out of Thailand, they're coming out of Mexico, and they're coming right back here to America and right back to North Carolina. As I look around this room, what I see are thousands and thousands and thousands of faces of loyal American citizens who love this country, who love this Constitution, who love the history and heritage of America, and all you've ever asked for in return is a government that is loyal to you. For 8 long years, Donald Trump has been fighting for us in the arena. What he has endured, what he has been through on this journey, they came after him, they came after his family, they came after his children, they came after his businesses, they came after his freedom, and they came after his life, and he's still standing strong, he is still standing tall, and with your help, North Carolina, Donald J. Trump is going to save the United States of America. He's going to seal the border. He's going to bring back our jobs. He's going to end inflation, and America will be greater than ever before. Thank you. God bless you, and God bless North Carolina.
Well, that man can bring the heat, can he? So somebody asked me a question. I want to post it. I can't really say it, but I can post it because I'm under the auspices of the people who run this place. And that question is, when am I going to talk about the Dems giving the Department of Defense that authorization? Well, funny you ask that. That's why we're pushing people over to the private group on X. That is not even a topic I can even discuss here. Would never be able to discuss here. I would be evaporated in probably 10 seconds. So there's 2 topics that I want to talk to you about. Depending on schedule, I understand. Let me just check something, what Trump's schedule is tomorrow. Because I want to get back to my news show, but because he's been doing so much, I've basically deferred to his stuff. So tomorrow, he has one event as of right now, scheduled 6:30, the rally in Greensboro. Okay, so I'll be taking the Greensboro rally at 6:30. So I won't be able to do an evening show, but I'll do an afternoon show. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that show specifically on X. I'm going to talk about this thing that Steven is talking about, and I'm going to talk about another huge story involving the, how can I say this here, the 325,000 kids that are missing. I'm going to dig into that with y'all, and we're going to, we're going to discuss it. I can't do it here. It's going to be live on X. So if you want to be a part of that, you want to watch that, go ahead and jump on X. It won't be inside the forum because you can't go live just in the forum unless I did it on the phone, but I need my production to actually go through it. So it's going to be live on my profile, but I'll put a link to it, or rather, well, I can't put a link to it because it's not live yet. It's not like YouTube where it says what's coming. So, but tomorrow I'll announce the time where we're going to talk about what you're talking about right there, and 325,000 kids being missing. So let's go ahead and discuss that in detail. All right, let's go ahead and back to the thing. Think Gitmo. Yeah, exactly. Pat says, I've been suspended from X. Why? That's all I can say. Why? What'd you do? What'd you do, bro? Text me, or not text me. Oh, you can't. Well, put it in the chat what you did, and maybe I can email somebody to help get you unsuspended. Thank you. Ronald Soriano, my brother from another mother. He's been watching me since my days back into the Dolphins. Give me a second. I gotta have a little chat with Ronald here. Was I right, Ron? I'm gonna look for your follow-up comment. Was I right with everything I said last year about the Miami Dolphins? When everybody freaked out. Oh, Barry, why can you say that? Oh, you're not a real fan. Am I right now? Is Dougly Doo-Doo and the unreasonable one? Was I right? I know a lot of you don't know what I'm talking about. Ronald knows exactly what I'm saying. I want some props, Ron. Tom Stockel, you're in here too, I saw. Any else who used to watch my Dolphins stuff, go ahead and tell me. I've been waiting. I've been waiting a long time. You know everything I said about them damn Dolphins. And every single thing I said about the Miami Dolphins is 100% true. And now y'all get to live in it. That is my little rant about the Miami Dolphins. Now let's continue with our regular programming. Them kids are unable to submit for the hoodie. I don't know what to say. There you are. You're a big man. Yes, the Dolphins are crap. They dominated the Colts all game and lost it. Yeah, you could have just said, yes, you were right. That's all you had to write there. All right. I have two X accounts just for that reason. Absolutely. Jeffrey Stein, Dougie Doo-Doo. Oh, I used to enjoy that Dolphin stuff, watching those people get so riled up, but I digress. What's the website info for the hoodie? Okay, I'll put that up again. It's go to fanfareshop.org. So some of you guys, if you can't do it, try a different email. I mean, because you're let me just tell you why some of you can't do it. When you register for these things, you're putting personal info in. You're putting your phone, and maybe you're putting in you don't ask for address till afterwards. So you're putting stuff in there, and you may have a blocker on your device, or the email you're using may show up in a spam filter, because we have to have somewhat of a tight filter on it. Otherwise, people would be like, suck my wand at some dirty word, and it would take it. So it basically filters out stuff. If you've been to like OnlyFans or something, maybe I'm not going to say it, but anyway, it filters out certain emails. Tom Stockel, like, Daniel, go woke and go broke. Yeah, he got to go. I told you that last year. I never got Robin never got her original account back either. It's very weird. She's got a second one because I had like 8 of them, so she had to come back. It looks like someone else is coming out to speak. No, not yet. All right. Maybe Diddy knows where them kids are. I'm sure there's quite a few people who know where them kids are. Well, where those kids were. We don't know. Merrick Garland proves that he is corrupt. Yeah. It's amazing how all of a sudden they want to throw Elon Musk in jail because, he's supporting Trump. And they're like, there must be something wrong with him giving away $1 million a day. Meanwhile, that other old guy is paying $200 billion to buy a slew of radio stations. But that's okay. No worries about that. And all the money that they put in to buy district attorney offices. Oh, no problem with that. But now you got someone who's fighting the same fight, and y'all got problems. Too effing bad. Yeah, pray for all those children. Sleepy says, this is very interesting. He says, this Disney tunnels. I have to give full disclosure. I worked at Disney years and years and years ago, and I've been in those very tunnels that you're speaking of, and although I don't like what Disney has turned into, those tunnels are not where people are disappearing from. I mean, you got trucks. I mean, you wouldn't believe how big some of these tunnels are underneath Disney World, but they're moving goods and services, and they're very well lit. It's not a seedy place. There's people moving from and to different parts of the park where they have to perform. Here's a little hint for you too in Disney. That's how Mickey Mouse gets around. You see, there's a rule at Disney. That Mickey Mouse can't be in more than one place at the same time, because otherwise it would, basically destroy the aura of Mickey Mouse. So when Mickey's doing this dance someplace and then he goes away, he's getting in a tunnel and he's heading to another part of the park, or he's getting into the tunnel and they can go, okay, it's clear on tunnel 3, and then the new Mickey Mouse can pop up. So Trump is walking out right now. As you know, can't play the music. But as soon as he begins talking, we will cut to him. I've got 2 different feeds working, as usual. And he's coming out. Where'd he go? He was just coming out. I swear, I just saw him. It's like did he turn around? No, he's waiting for him to come out. He's walking to the stage. Oh, I see. One of the feeds is delayed. He's on stage right now, but the feed that I would prefer to use is delayed by a couple seconds. So I'm going to try and use that feed, because we don't see the split screen from RSBN with all those advertisings. But so when I switch over, once he gets up to the stage well, you know what? Here's what we'll do. We'll just start using it right now, so we can figure out where he is. He's coming. Let me go ahead and go full screen over here. Okay. All right, so we're going to go full screen and cut the music.
So he was taking a look at that. Later on,
they're doing the same thing. They're not letting the music play. So we are a couple seconds behind what some of the other broadcasts, but I'm doing this because I want to make sure the lips are in sync, number one, and they know copyright wise you can't play the music, so they're talking over it too.
Harris have really just been crisscrossing the country, meeting in key swing states such as North Carolina, just trying to shore up the base and perhaps sway some of those undecided voters right there. So we are going to raise the audio as former President Trump takes to the podium right here. Let's listen in.
Nope, they almost got me too. All right, so he'll be speaking in a second. Some of you who are on a different feed might already see him speaking, but you're not going to miss a word. And hopefully all the audio is synced well on this other feed. And if not, we'll just jump to RSBN. Okay, let's see what happens. Come on, man. Come on, bro. Step up. Step to the mic. And the song is playing right now, so you're not missing anything. He's just
the remarks
standing
without
there. And here we go.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, and a very special hello to Greenville right now, Greenville.
So I need you guys to let me know how the sound is.
Hello to North Carolina, special place for me. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm thrilled to be back in this incredible state with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. That's what you are. And I'd like to begin by asking a question. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? I don't think so. I don't think so. Not even close. That's a big question. Think about that, right? We have to get out and vote. I'm here today with a message of hope for all Americans. With your vote in this election, I will end inflation, I will stop the invasion, and I will bring back the American dream. Our country is being crippled and destroyed by Kamala Harris. Kamala. How the hell did that ever happen? How did that ever happen? The guy had 14 million votes. I'm no fan of his, by the way. But he had 14 million votes. She had none. She was the first to lose. 22 people. She was the first out. She never made it to the great state of Iowa. Never made it. And, well, you know, they talk about it. She is a threat to democracy. I mean, that's really, she's a threat to a lot of things, but that's the way it has to be, because we're winning by a lot. We're leading by a lot. We're leading in the polls. Every single state looks like we're doing really well. And with your support on November 5th, America will be bigger, better, bolder, richer, safer, and stronger than ever before. This election is a choice between whether we will have a think of this, 4 more years. Could you stand it? It's 4 more years of incompetence and stupidity and failure and disaster, or whether we will begin the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. I think we have a real chance. And we were set back, and then you think about what they've done, because I happen to think the border is the biggest problem we have, not inflation. Inflation's terrible, it's a country buster, and the economy, all those things. But I happen to think that what they've done at the border to our country by letting millions and millions of people in, totally unchecked and unvetted, I think it's the worst thing, including murderers, drug dealers, people from prison. They opened up their prisons of the world into our country. I think it's the worst thing anyone's ever heard. And a lot of terrorists are coming in, record numbers of terrorists. Nothing good can happen. Nothing good can happen. After all the catastrophe she has caused, Kamala Harris can't say one thing that she'd do differently from Sleepy Joe Biden. Not one thing. And all she had to do is go to him and say, wake him up, wake him up, wake him up. We're going to sign an order, close the border. And it's closed. She didn't need a bill. And we want people to come into our country, but they have to come in legally, right? They have to come in legally. And I'm asking you to be excited about the future of our country again. You're not excited. It's hard to get excited with these people, with Biden. Just get excited about Biden. But nobody was excited, and they went to him, terrible thing, and they said, we want you out. He said, no, I'm not going to do that. We want you out. Well, he said, if you put it that way, okay. No, I mean, think of it. This was the overthrow of a president of the United States. He didn't want to get out. In fact, the word is that he likes me more than he likes Kamala. I believe that's true. I believe that's true. What do you think, Whatley? How good is Whatley? What do you think? He's running the whole shebang. He ran your state. As you know, the Republican Party, we did so well. I said, put him in charge of everything this time. He'll stop the cheating. He's going to stop the cheating. How are you doing? Are they cheating, Michael? They're trying, but are they? They're not going to get away with it, right? He said, no. That's why I had him. They didn't get away with it in this day. They got away with it in plenty of places. This will be America's new golden age. It's going to happen. Every problem facing us can be solved, but now the fate of our nation is in your hands. North Carolina, you have to stand up and you have to tell Kamala Harris that you've had enough. You can't take it anymore. She's the worst vice president in history. It's the worst administration in the history of our country. They make Jimmy Carter look like he was a great president. He's a very happy man. Kamala, you're the absolute epitome of, I won't say it. Kamala, you're fired. Get the hell out of here. Get out. out of here, Kamala. I've just come from western North Carolina, where I witnessed the terrible devastation of Hurricane Helene. Boy, that is some devastation. You look at nature. It's called nature. They have houses. They're beautiful, big, strong, powerful houses. And they just wiped out. They're gone. The footings are gone. The foundations, everything's gone. It's unbelievable when you look at it. To every family who has lost a loved one or a home, our hearts are with you, and we are praying for you, and we will come back, and we will be here on January 20th, and we will do a great job of rebuilding the state. And when I'm president, North Carolina will get the support you need and deserve, and that is without question. Because you didn't get the proper support from this administration. They spent their money on illegal migrants. They spent their money. They didn't have any money left for North Carolina. That's not the way it's supposed to work. Or other places, by the way. Plenty of other places. The polls are open for early voting in North Carolina every day from now to November 2nd. So get out there and vote. Get out there and vote. If you have to, you wait. November 5th is fine, too. We just have to make sure we vote and make sure it's counted. If you're displaced due to the storm, you do not have to return to your home county. You know that, right? To vote, you can request a ballot to your temporary housing location. We're taking good care of it. They've got it worked out. And by the way, I don't know if you've heard. So here, houses are gone. It's like, I can't believe the devastation. They set a record for the first few days of voting. Now, these are people that lost their houses. In some cases, unfortunately, they lost family members, and yet they set a record in early voting. They've never voted for the number of days anywhere close to the voting that we've done, right? Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? And I know Michael and the team, they worked very hard on making it convenient, but to think that that's a record that would be set, a lot of people thought it would be 20 or 30%. It's the highest number that you've ever had. That's a great compliment. And this is Trump territory, and that is Trump territory, too. So that should be a good thing. So go to TrumpVote24.com/NC for more details. With your help, 15 days from now, can you imagine 15 days? Oh. Can you imagine? 15 days from now, we're going to win North Carolina. We're going to defeat Kamala Harris, and we're going to make America great again. This state was once the beating heart of American manufacturing, especially furniture. I used to come down here all the time to buy furniture for hotels and things that I was building. I'd go into the different places. The talent you had was unbelievable, but I could see it year by year by year. It was being dissipated. It was being taken over by China and others, and all we needed to do is slap some tariffs on it. Would have been perfect. What a shame. What a shame. But they're going to come back. They're going to come back. You watch. They're going to come back fast. Year after year, globalist, radical left politicians like Kamala Harris sold you out and allowed your jobs to be plundered and stolen from you, brought to other countries. After NAFTA, the worst trade deal ever made, and China's entry into the World Trade Organization, where they were considered a growing nation, we are a developing nation. We're a developing nation, too. Have you ever seen some of our places? We're developing, too. We're developing more than them. Believe me, we need it more than they do. They're a developing nation, so they got all these benefits that we weren't entitled to because stupid people were negotiating for it. North Carolina lost over 300,000 manufacturing jobs, including those skilled people with the furniture. I used to watch them carve out a handle. How would you like it, sir? Would you like it this way? Watch. Ding, 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 ding. Just the most beautiful. We lost that whole thing. What a shame. And we're getting it back, though, including 60% of its furniture manufacturing jobs, and now even more than that. Under Kamala Harris, the United States has lost 50,000 manufacturing jobs this year alone. And those are our bread and butter. But under the Trump administration, we are going to take back what is ours. We will end the looting, ransacking, raping, and pillaging of North Carolina and, frankly, every other state in the Union. Every other state also. We will bring back our jobs, our factories, our wealth, and our dreams. We're going to bring them back. They are dreams, actually. They're going to be dreams no longer because you're going to have it, so we don't have to call it a dream. Starting in January, we will give our companies the lowest taxes, the lowest energy costs. By the way, we have more energy than any country in the world. I call it liquid gold, including Saudi Arabia and Russia by far. Think of it. Think of it. 4 years ago, we were energy independent. Can you believe it? And now we're buying tar. Now we're buying tar from Venezuela. It's not oil, it's tar. We have to melt it to get oil out of it. We will give our companies the lowest taxes, the lowest energy costs, the lowest regulatory burdens, and free access to the best and biggest market on the planet, but only if they make their products here in America and hire American workers for the job. Very simple. And if these companies don't make their products here, in other words, if they make them in another country and they bring them here, then they will pay a very stiff tariff. They will send their products into the United States for the privilege of competing with our workers and our cherished companies. They're going to have to pay a very big penalty. And I will never apologize for defending America. I will never apologize for putting America first. I will protect our workers. I will protect our jobs. I will protect our borders. You know, you've had politicians that didn't do it. They were either stupid, maybe dishonest, could have been dishonest. Hard to believe they would be dishonest, isn't it? When you see guys like Adam Shifty Schiff, he would never take anything. Can you believe this guy's probably going to be a senator? I can't even believe it. I'll tell you what, I was in California. We have some of the biggest crowds you've ever seen. I was in California. I'd love to have God to come down and be the vote counter just for one day and see how well we're doing, California. They send millions and millions of ballots out. They don't know what the hell's happening. And no matter what happens, they say, well, California is not available. I have a rally. I have 100,000 people. They have a rally. They have 200 people. And they say they're going to win. They're not going to win. No. Did you ever hear the expression that the vote counter is far more important than the candidate? And unfortunately, we can't let that happen. We've got to take it back. I will protect our families, and I will protect the... Thank you. It's true. The vote counter is more important than the candidate. That's been true, unfortunately. And I will protect the birthright of our children to live the richest and most powerful nation. He's going to live in the most powerful nation on the face of the earth. It's going to be the richest nation. With 4 more years of Kamala Harris, North Carolina will be an economic wasteland. You know that. You see what's happening. I took off more regulations than any president in history times 4, and they put a lot of them back, and there was no reason to do it. We had the best jobs. We had the best economy in the history of our country. And now we had no inflation, by the way. You know, we had the best economy with no inflation. That's actually a hard thing to do if you think about it. We had no inflation, essentially no inflation. And the best, now we have inflation that's killing everybody. Kamala's inflation has already cost a typical family over $30,000 in higher prices. And now she wants to raise the typical family's taxes by nearly $3,000 a year. Take a look at this.
Kamala Harris is going to significantly raise taxes.
Taxes are going to have to go up?
Kamala's plan will raise families' taxes by nearly $2,600 a year. Under Kamala, prices have already soared. Now she'd make it worse with even higher taxes.
Taxes are going to have to go up?
President Trump will cut taxes again. No taxes on tips, overtime, or Social Security.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Thank you. And by the way, she wants to confiscate your guns. You got to think about it. The tax queen is also demanding a shocking 33% tax hike on all domestic production, along with the largest capital gains tax hike in history. Think of this. They want to raise your taxes to a level that you haven't seen before, and they're running on this platform, okay? In all of my years, I've never seen anybody running for office with it. We will raise your taxes. They say they're going to raise your taxes. You're going to lose all your companies because they go to other places. You know, it's very simple. You're going to tax them out of the market. They're going to go to other places. That goes your job. By contrast, I will massively cut taxes for workers and small businesses. And very importantly, there will be no tax on tips. No tax on overtime. And very important for your seniors, no tax on Social Security benefits for our seniors. Right? I will make interest on car loans. This is something, they called me up from Wall Street, the most brilliant people. They called me up. Where do you think of that? Sounds simple, right? But it's not so simple. I always say it's like the paperclip, you know, some guy 129 years ago, he came up, he took a little piece of stuff, and he went away. All of a sudden, here's the paper clip. He made a fortune. People look at it, they say, why didn't I think of that? This is the same thing. I will make interest on car loans fully tax deductible because affording a car is essential to restoring the American dream, and it'll be great for Detroit and South Carolina and North Carolina. It'll be great for a lot of states, but it will. I mean, a lot of people are going to buy cars when you do that. And we want them to buy them only in this country. We're not interested in buying cars from other countries. Do we agree? We want to buy them. You'll even buy them if they're made in South Carolina. Do you agree? All right, we'll make them in North Carolina. Now, we want to get them from Detroit because Michigan has suffered. They've lost like 70% of their car. And by the way, with all those, you heard the stat, 50,000, 60,000 manufacturing jobs wiped out last month. We are just doing so badly as a country. We don't know it. We're a nation in decline. We're a nation in decline, and I hate to say it. And you know, I didn't have to do this. I had a lot of options. I could have been on a beautiful beach someplace. I could have been on a beautiful beach, but I watched what was happening after that ridiculous election, where I got more votes than any sitting president in the history of our country. But the good side of that is 15 days. We've been waiting a long time for this. 15 days. Disgraceful. It's a disgrace. But I watched how bad they were doing. They were destroying this country step by step. They were destroying it. We would have had no war with Ukraine, with Russia, Ukraine. They went in because of a lot of things. They went in because of our energy policy. They went in because of Biden's stupidity and his rhetoric. And you take a look at what happened. They went in because they saw Afghanistan. They said, wow, they're a paper tiger. There was never a more embarrassing day in the life of our country, or period in the life, than what happened with Afghanistan, the way that we got out of Afghanistan. And Putin saw that. Yeah, he's right. He said Joe was sleeping. You're right, I guess. Putin saw that and he went in. He would have never done it. We would have never had October 7th with Israel. We would have never had inflation. That was caused by energy, largely by energy. Our energy was incredible. We had it down to $1.87 a gallon, and it went up to $5.50. On day one of the Trump administration, I will terminate Kamala's insane electric vehicle mandate, and we will end the Green New scam once and for all. The Green New scam will end. And I love Elon, by the way. You know, he makes all those electric cars. But he understands that, too. He makes a great car, great part, and a lot of people like it. And it's a perfect application for a lot, but not for everybody. Some want gasoline propelled, and we have a lot of gasoline right under there. And some want other things. They want to have a hybrid. The one thing I can't get used to is hydrogen, you know? You know the story with hydrogen? It's great until it blows up, in which case you're not recognizable. Even strong guys like this, that call you mom or your wife. Is it a mom or oh, look at that. Oh, I know them. Very wealthy parents. That's nice, you know. I know them. No, your kids wouldn't be recognizable. That's not a good thought. Huh? How's my son doing? Well, he tried the new hydrogen car. It didn't work out too well. So if they want to give me one for free, even if they have it fully developed, where they haven't seen a problem in a couple of months, I have no interest in it. But we're going to be developing a lot of things, and that's what we want. And we want to have a lot of application. By the way, I want to thank Elon Musk for providing us with Starlink for North Carolina and for Georgia. A man called me from North Carolina that I knew, and they were having a lot of trouble because our government, our federal government, was doing a terrible job. That's Biden and Kamala. They didn't know what the hell was happening. They spent all their money on the illegals coming in. You know, they had no money left. But they were doing a terrible job, and they called me. They said, "Do you know Elon Musk?" I said, "I do." In fact, he endorsed me like so beautifully. His endorsement was one of the most beautifully written endorsements. That's in between those rocket ships that go up and down all the time. I mean, how cool was that, though, right? Yeah. I'm watching this thing. I said, "Oh, what's going on?" I had no idea. I was on the phone with a friend, just to make it a little bit longer story. I was on the phone talking to a very important guy, actually, and I have the television muted. It's dead muted. And I see this ball of fire coming, like a 20-story building. It's coming down, coming. I say, "Would you do me a favor? Hold it." I've never said, what the hell is happening? I thought maybe it switched over to a movie or something. And I put the phone down. Very important guy. You know what? I never picked it up. The guy was holding for like 45 minutes. I forgot he was on the phone because... And now all these idiots back there will say, he's cognitively impaired because he put the... He's cognitively impaired. You know, I do this stuff 5, 6, 7 times a day for 52 days without a break. And then if you say one wrong word, which I don't, actually, I don't, like you say the. Oh, I heard a word that wasn't exactly proper. He's cognitive. There's sick people. I'll tell you what, they are really, not all of them. Not all of them. I'd say about 92%. A couple of good ones. That's a lot of cameras going on. There are a couple of good ones back there. No, it is. Isn't it crazy? Isn't it crazy what they do and the level of meanness, the way they write about people, and the way they protect. How about 60 Minutes? The way they protected Kamala. She gave an answer. Think of it. 60 Minutes, CBS, and they ought to lose their license and they ought to take it off the air. It's the biggest. How about this? She gives an answer that was cognitively a mess, right? She gives an answer that was grossly incompetent. They removed the entire answer and put another answer in there. Where the hell? They don't do that with anybody that I've ever heard. With me, they do the opposite. I give them a gorgeous, full-flowing, magnificent, beautiful answer. I call it the weave, right? Always get right back to the right place, but you cover a lot of territory this way. But you give a beautiful answer, and then what they do is they take pieces of it out, and all of you say, what the hell happened to my beautiful answer? They do the opposite. And that's bad, too, but that's not like this. They took her entire answer out, threw it out, and they said, this looks terrible. And they put a new answer in. I mean, that's the biggest scandal, in my opinion, because that's election interference. That's the biggest scandal in the history of broadcasting. Right? The biggest scandal in the history of broadcasting, in my opinion. We'll see what happens. They're being sued. They're being sued by a lot of people. No, they should lose their license for that, right? You know, the fake news is protected. How dare he say that? Why would he ever say lose it? They took her answer, threw it out, and gave her a new answer, and they're trying to defend it. Boy, can you imagine if that happened with me? It would be over. The electric chair. And by the way, does anybody have any doubt that they worked with her campaign to get rid of that stupid answer? She's a mess. She's a cognitive mess, and nobody wants to talk about it. And we can't have 4 more years. We had 4 years of it. We can't take another 4 years of it, can we? We will quickly become energy independent, and we will frack, and drill, baby, drill, right? Drill. Drill, baby, drill. We're going to drill you. Going to say, sir, we have too much energy. They're going to come back. Ted Budd's going to call me, sir, may I see you with a few of the people? I said, who? Who are you going to see me with, Ted? A few of our big, very important people from North Carolina. Sir, it's too much energy is being given to us. The prices are getting too low. Is there something you can do about it, sir? We're making too much money. We got jobs. We got everything. We're winning too much, sir. We can't take it anymore because for years we've been losing. So please, sir, do something about the winning. It's just too much for the people of North Carolina to take. And I'll say, Ted, I don't care how much. We're going to win more. We're going to win more. We're going to keep winning, Ted. I don't care what you say. There he is. Look at him. And I'll cut your energy prices. Here's a pledge. 1 year from January 20th, that's when you take office. We're going to win. And I'm going to cut your energy prices in half. 50% your energy. We have it right there. And then everything else is going to start to come down. Your cost of energy is so important. Interest rates, too, we're going to be cutting them. But the energy I can do right away. I'll get those guys drilling. They are wild. They are tough and wild. They are crazy. They'll be drilling so much. We're going to, you know what? If they drill themselves out of business, I don't give a damn, right? We're going to get your prices. We're going to get your prices down so low. We're going to get them down 50%. So remember I said it. As we rebuild our economy, we'll also restore our borders. For 4 straight years, Kamala has imported an army of illegal alien gang members and migrant criminals from prisons and jails, insane asylums and mental institutions all around the world, from Venezuela to the Congo, not just in South America. The Congo in Africa, many people are being brought in from the Congo. The great thing is they make our criminals look like really nice people. These people are so much more vicious. They cut you up and they don't even think about it the next day. Look at these beautiful ladies these ladies in the front are going, this is a rather depressing speech he's making, I must say. They say, look how beautiful, I happen to know them. They're not into the world of being cut up, right? They never heard that. They weren't educated exactly that way. Look, they're looking at me like they're so cute. They're saying, oh, this is terrible. Believe me, they're worse than that. That's how bad they are. And she has resettled some of the worst criminals anywhere in the world into your communities to prey upon innocent American citizens. When I win on November 5th, the migrant invasion ends and the restoration of our country begins. Okay? Now they're happy. Now she's happy. She's happy now. One of the deadliest and most vicious migrant gangs that Kamala has imported into our country is the savage Venezuelan prison gang. They formed in these horrible prisons in Venezuela. Tren de Aragua. Have you heard of them? You don't want to hear of them. That's taking over apartment complexes and unleashing a violent terror spree all over America. You know, in Aurora, what they're doing. You've been reading about it in Aurora, Colorado. You have a governor. He's a radical left lunatic, and he's petrified. He doesn't want anything to do. These guys have guns that are as good as our military. They're of military quality, sometimes better. There's a Supreme, called the Supreme version. Where the hell did they get this stuff? And they're vicious. And now, today in the New York Post, on the front page, I read where they've taken over Times Square. Isn't that wonderful? Can you imagine? And let's take a look at this, please.
Open borders, deadly consequences.
Border crisis. Record high crossings are putting a strain on cities across America. It is a full-blown invasion.
Armed Venezuelan gang members storming an apartment complex in Aurora, Colorado.
When people talk about lack of crime, this is what they're talking about. Biden and Harris had created a program to bring them in under humanitarian parole.
I am in favor of saying that we're not going to treat people who are undocumented across the border as criminals.
More than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been released into the United States.
My 20-year-old daughter, Kayla Hamilton, was murdered in her own room. Kayla's murderer was apprehended by Border Patrol crossing illegally into the U.S.
Kayla's murderer had been improperly released into the United States.
Abolish ICE. Yeah, we need to probably think about starting from scratch.
An Afghan national is in custody today after being accused of plotting an election day terrorist attack. The suspect entered the U.S. on a special immigrant visa.
More than a dozen people suspected of being Tren de Aragua gang members right here in San Antonio.
The gang members had been terrorizing the apartment complex.
New details in the murder of Laken Riley. The illegal immigrant suspect, who cops say committed the heinous murder, is a Venezuelan national.
And was paroled and released into the country by the Biden administration.
2 men investigators say are in the country illegally from Venezuela are charged with capital murder in the death of Jocelyn Nungaray.
Court documents suggest a group of men arrested for beating and robbing a Dallas woman last month are members of a Venezuelan street gang.
Manuel Hernandez was booked by Colleyville police just 2 days earlier and released the day before the robbery.
So that's the people they're spending their money on to get them into our country, among others. And that's why you don't have the money. They want to hold a special session of Congress to give you the money. And we're going to work with you 100%. But can you imagine what they've done to this country is unthinkable. These are the people where the money's going instead of the people of your state, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama, Florida. All of these places, Georgia, by the way, where they're doing a good job. Government is doing a good job. The state government, not the federal government. The United States is now an occupied country. But on November 5th, 2024, we will be a liberated country. We will be liberated like never before. It will be Liberation Day. Under Kamala Harris, 13,099 illegal alien convicted murderers are on the loose in the United States. You know who gave that information? The Border Patrol gave us that information, and they've never done that before, but they said something has to be done. And by the way, thank you to the Border Patrol. They're great. They endorsed your favorite president. They didn't only endorse me, saying I'm the greatest president there's ever been. I said, what about George Washington? Nah, you're better. What about Lincoln? What about Abraham Lincoln? Nope, you're better. They said I'm tougher on the border than Abraham Lincoln, right? Than Honest Abe. But you know, they gave me a great endorsement, but at the same time, they did something that's pretty amazing because, you know, it's not easy for them to do this. They said she's the worst we've ever had. She never even called anybody for 3.5, 4 years. She never even called anybody. She never called one Border Patrol head agent, never once, and she never visited the site, never visited. This is a woman who is a disaster. She destroyed the greatest city in our country, I think might have been San Francisco. She destroyed San Francisco. She helped destroy California, which is hard to do with the weather, the water, the everything. The sun and the water has everything perfect. The location, together with Gavin Newsom, the governor, she destroyed it. And we're not going to let her destroy the United States of America. We're not going to let her. Right? Just last week, 2 illegal alien members of the same savage Venezuela gang were arrested in New York for robbing, shooting, and murdering a 59-year-old man in a Connecticut hotel. It was a horrible, horrible scene. One of these monsters was a gotaway, and we're not even including gotaways in those numbers. You know what a gotaway is? That means they come through and nobody checks them. We built hundreds of miles of wall. We had the safest border in history. You remember my all-time favorite chart? I love that chart. I sleep with that chart. And it showed the best numbers. Put the chart up if you would. Just put it up. Put it up. If you can. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. We didn't have that chart, I wouldn't be with you today. I give that chart a big fat kiss every night I go to bed with that chart. But what that chart also shows is look at the arrow on the bottom. That was the day I left office. We had the lowest level of illegal immigrants coming into our country, also drugs and lots of other things. You take a look at human trafficking of women. Mostly it's women. It's not, they talk about men. It's not men, it's women and children, but mostly women. We had the largest number of 10 times more than came in through me. We had it stopped. We would check in every car, every trunk in every car where they put a lot of them. And we had it stopped. And now it's out of control. The internet brought that into a crime. It sounds like an ancient kind of a thing. It's not. The internet made that as profitable as the drug trade. It's really horrible what's going on. What's happened to that border is probably the meanest place maybe in the history of our country, certainly, but almost the history of the world. And there's no border like it in the world. There's no border so corrupt, so dangerous, anything like that. There's never been anything like that. What's happening? Millions of people, and what's happening to them, even on the journey up, the fact that they make that journey, the women it's a horrible thing that happens to the women. You remember when I first ran, I used a certain word, rape. Everyone said, oh, he used the word rape. Well, rape, the percentage of women that are raped on the trip up, I won't say it, but you won't believe the number. It's just a horrible thing that happens, all because these people, they're basically saying, come up, we'll give you education, we'll give you this, you can stop it all in one day, you can stop it all in 1 hour, you can close that. So I built the wall, hundreds of miles. I then ordered 200 miles more. We could have had it up in 3 days. It flips up. Exactly what Border Patrol wanted, exactly what ICE wanted. We got exactly what they wanted. We could have had it done in literally 3 to 4 weeks, completed. Much more than I promised I was going to do. I built hundreds of miles. That's one of the reasons we were able to have it. Then I got Mexico to give us soldiers, thousands and thousands of soldiers, free of charge, by the way. Mexico, of course, I did tell them, if you don't do it, I'm going to put tariffs on all your cars that are coming in. I did tell. They actually said, no, we won't do it. We're not going to. I said, you got to give me 28,000 soldiers right away, free of charge. They looked at me, they said, we're not going to do that. Why would we do that? I said, you're going to do it 100%, you're going to do it. They said, we're not. I said, you are. They said, no way. I said, way. And then they started wondering, what the hell's going on over here? They were I said, here's the story. If you don't give us those soldiers, because you're the ones that are letting them in your country and they're coming up from your southern border, if you're not going to give us those soldiers, I'm going to tariff you for 25%, then for 50%, then for 75%, and then for 100%. And you're going to pay us so much money that we can afford to buy an army if we want, like times 5. And I said, and I have the legislation on my desk, and I'm going to sign it right now unless I hear, sir, we would like very much to do exactly as you say. We will provide you with soldiers. And it wasn't only that, remain in Mexico. I mean, they said, we're not going to give you remain in Mexico. I said, of course you are, because you're letting them come through your country. We don't want them in our country until we're able to vet them and check them. And when I said the tariffs, I'm telling you, the most beautiful word in the dictionary is the word tariff. You don't know. They said, no way, no way, no way. And then they said, we would be proud to give you as many soldiers as you want, free of charge, sir. We don't want to charge you anything. Don't forget, they've taken a lot. Oh, and I have just one quick story. So they're building the largest car plant in the world in Mexico. It's all being financed and done by China. China basically owns it, but they're using Mexico to make cars and send them through. So this took place about a year ago. I found out about it through a man that builds the plants. I said, I want to see a plant. I want to see a car plant. He said, come with me to Mexico, sir. I said, no, I want to see one in the United States. We don't build the big ones in the United States. The big ones are being built in Mexico. I said, why is that? Well, China's there, and they want to build them in Mexico and then sell them into the United States, which will totally close down Michigan, totally close down Detroit, and you won't have any car industry left. So I heard that, and I started thinking about it. I said, how terrible is that? And then about 3 months ago, as you know, I started saying, We're not going to allow it to happen. They were getting ready to start. The biggest plant in the world, actually. I think 2 or 3 of them, but the biggest. They were getting ready to start. And the other day, I was in Detroit at the Detroit Economic Club making a speech on cars and bringing back the automobile industry. And I saw the man that builds the plants. I knew him a little bit. I brought him up. I said, I wanted to see you for a minute. Come here. What's happened to that plant? Sir, about 2 weeks ago, China decided to not build it because they think you're going to be elected president. And if you have to pay tariffs, if they have to pay tariffs, there's no way it can be successful. So there's a case. I didn't even do anything except say, we're going to put tariffs. And I even said, we'll put 100, 200, I don't care what the number is. They're not going to have one car from that massive, giant auto plant come into our country. And I said that. And China decided a couple of weeks ago they're not going to be. How good is that, huh? So I saved Michigan, and I saved Detroit, and I saved you a little bit. You know, with you, it's not as big a deal. But, you know, the same thing applies to other businesses. So we killed that plant just by the threat of tariffs. I'm telling you, outside of love and religion, it's the most beautiful word there is. Tariff. And these stupid people, stupid politicians, they don't like... Look, they're either dumb or they're corrupt. Anybody that opposes tariffs for a country where you're going to, because China's been doing that for years. We don't want your cars unless you build the factory in China. We don't want your cars. Japan doesn't take our cars. They said, if you want to build a factory in Japan, otherwise we're not interested in your cars. And what we did is such a beautiful thing. I've got no credit for it whatsoever, but someday they'll give me credit in about 100 years from now. In Wilmington, North Carolina, 2 months ago, an illegal alien from Venezuela brutally stabbed a man to death. This murder came just 4 days after he was arrested for domestic violence. But instead of being deported by Kamala, this criminal alien was released into our country where he kills. He's an animal. Every day, Kamala Harris is bringing in illegal aliens who are raping and murdering women and children. You see them all the time. Their names have become famous, and you know, in a certain way, look, it's they don't want it. I know the parents. I've met so many of the parents. They're devastated. They'll never be the same. But their children have not died in vain because we're gonna stop it. We're gonna stop it very strongly. We're gonna stop it. We're not gonna play games. And because of the horrible acts that these people have committed, nobody can even believe it. And it's all because of Biden and Kamala. And in all fairness, Biden put this total stupid person in charge of our border. Think of it. Never made a call. Never went there. She let it just she said, keep those borders open, let everybody come in. Now, there's only one reason you do that, I guess. Well, there's 3 reasons. You're stupid. You hate our country. You can't be that stupid to be able to cheat like they cheat. So you're either stupid, you hate our country, or they're trying to get them to vote, right? And it's probably the third. She's turning beautiful small towns into third world dumping grounds. She's letting vicious gangs take over whole communities. She's busing and flying them in by the millions. How about the flights? She said, yes, you know, about 3 months ago, they're getting killed on this issue. I think it's, again, the most important issue there is, more important than the economy, believe it or not, because this is destroying the fabric of our country. This is like destroying our country. And so they tightened it up a little bit. Oh, look, our numbers are a little bit better. Look, oh, Trump stopped the bill. He told the Senate, Ted, did I ever tell you not to sign that bill? No, right? I didn't tell anybody to, but they like that. Trump stopped. I sort of liked it. It gives you such power. You know, you come from Queens, and now I'm calling for you will not sign that bill, senators. You will not. They have me calling up, you will not sign that bill. Actually, I like that sort of. Maybe I should go along with that. Sorry, Ted. That's something, nobody's had that kind of power in a long time, right? But, and again, all she had to do, she didn't need a bill, just had to call him up and say, close up the border. Wake up the guy up top and just close up the border, please, Joe. Come on over here, Crooked Joe. We're going to sign this right here, sign right here. Okay. And the border's closed. I didn't have a bill. I had the strongest border in history. I didn't have a bill. My father used to tell me that when he'd hire somebody, when they say, sir, an executive, sir, could I have a letter of authorization? Could I have a letter saying that I've been... He said all of those guys that wanted letters were always weak and ineffective. It was the ones that went in and said, I'm the boss now, you're going to listen to me. Those were the ones that did the job. You know, does that make sense? So all they had to do, they didn't need anything. All they had to do is say, the border's closed. She's responsible for more human trafficking than any person in history. There's never been a problem in human trafficking in history like this one, and she's responsible. If Kamala gets 4 more years, you will not have a country left. You're not going to have a country left. You'll have 200 million people pouring in from all parts, and mostly prisons and lots of other places that you don't want to hear about. Immediately upon taking the oath of office, I will launch the largest deportation program in American history. I will rescue every town across America that has been invaded and conquered, and we will put these vicious and bloodthirsty criminals in jail or kick them the hell out of our country back to where they came from. And to expedite removals of Tren de Aragua and other savage gangs like MS-13, equally violent, I will invoke the alien... Think of that. 1798. That's when we had real politicians that said, we're not going to play games. We have to go back to 1798 to target and dismantle every migrant criminal network operating on American soil. We're going to knock the hell out of them. Don't forget, I'm the one that defeated ISIS, remember? They don't want to do. The fake news doesn't like talking about it. They don't like talking about things like that. And I did it in a matter of weeks. It was supposed to take 5 years, 7 years. Matt has told me, sir, we won't be able to do that for many years, sir. I said, wait a minute, we have the best planes in the world, the best everything in the world, and they fight with knives and crappy guns? Why? And I went over there and I found out why, and I had the right guy. I had a real general, not a television general. Not a general that likes to write books. Stupid people. These are stupid people. Oh, and the things he said in that book, they put him in great jeopardy, what he said in the book. This stupid guy, Milley, he's the one that said, leave the equipment. Sir, I think we should leave the equipment. It's cheaper to leave a plane that costs $150 million than it is to take it out, sir. That's when I knew I had a real dummy. And if they come back into our country, it's an automatic 10 years in jail with no possibility of parole. And I am hereby calling for the death penalty for any migrant that kills an American citizen or law enforcement officer. I will end catch and release into our country. We'll have catch and release into Mexico, if that's okay. I will immediately end all migrant flights. Hundreds of thousands of people are being flown into the middle of our country. I will outlaw sanctuary cities. They're going to be over. Dead. And I will ban all welfare and federal benefits for illegals. I will restore every Trump border policy and immediately expel all illegals who violate our border. We're going to get them out. We have to, because this is not sustainable by any country. We're running against the most radical, most incompetent, most unfit vice president in the history of our country. No one respects her. No one trusts her. No one takes her seriously. Something is clearly wrong with her. She can't put two sentences together. She's an international joke, and she is going to end up getting us into a third world war. This person cannot be president when the people of North Carolina were stranded and drowning in Hurricane Helene. Kamala Harris was at a glitzy fundraiser in a city that she destroyed, San Francisco. She spent the last 4 years taking your money to provide shelter and benefits to illegal aliens. But when North Carolina needed help, Kamala Harris was nowhere to be found. And it took her a long time to get here, too. And she only did it. She only came here because she's running for office. I was here the day after. I didn't want to go in. I didn't want to disturb them, but I was in North Carolina. Kamala Harris does not have the compassion, the smarts, or the strength to be the president of the United States. She just can't do the job. You know it. Everybody knows it. Her people know it. The people that work for her know it. Almost 95% of the people that work for her as vice president quit. They were always quitting because she was a nut job. And on top of it all, she says she would not do one thing differently from Joe Biden, which is totally disqualifying immediately. Remember, the most unpopular, everybody says right way. Wrong way is 86%. So why would you do everything the same? But she should have done it 4 years ago. Take a look.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
I stood there on the tarmac watching you check your watch.
The chaotic and deadly U.S. evacuation from Afghanistan stunned Americans and the world and cost the lives of 13 U.S. soldiers.
Would you have done something differently?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
More than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been caught at the border and then released into the United States.
An Afghan national is in custody today after being accused of plotting an election day terrorist attack. The suspect entered the U.S. on a special immigrant visa.
Gut-wrenching new details in the murder of Georgia nursing student Laken Riley. The illegal immigrant suspect, who cops say committed the heinous murder, is a Venezuelan national who crossed the unsecured southern border back in 2022.
Two men investigators say are in the country illegally from Venezuela are charged with capital murder in the death of Jocelyn Nungaray.
A fifth illegal immigrant accused of attacking two New York City police officers over the weekend showed no remorse or regret.
Would you have done something differently?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Only 18% say the economy is in excellent or good condition.
US inflation has hit a new 40-year high, increasing by 9.1% over the financial year.
The cost of homes have spiked. Home buyers need to earn 80% more than they did in 2020 to afford a house.
Were you the last person in the room? Yes.
Thank you very much. Good job. You know, a friend of mine called me up and he said, I hate it when you run the clips. Why? Because the press doesn't follow them. They can't move that damn camera up to show that picture. They can't move. No, think of it. I said, no, you must be kidding. All they have to do is turn it just a little bit of an angle and it's fine. But you can't do that, can you? You can't do that. I'm watching the camera. They keep the damn camera focused on me and I now understand what I was watching them. Because a friend called up, he said, it's too bad with the clips, they sound good, but they don't show them. All you have to do is turn it a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right. But he's told by his bosses, right there, the guy right there, he's told by his bosses, don't do it, because they don't want to give us the privilege of seeing murderers in our country. And you should be ashamed of yourself. North Carolina, if you want to end this disaster, you must get out and vote. We'll get rid of these stupid people. We're pleased to be joined today by Senator Ted Budd, and I want to say happy birthday, Ted. What are you, about 49 or something? Happy birthday. Great guy, great senator, very respected. Thank you, Ted. Another great one that I was very involved in, he did fantastically, and now I think he's running for a thing called Attorney General, Dan Bishop. Dan, thank you. And I hear you're doing well, right? Thank you. Dan's been a great congressman. Congressional candidate, Lori Buckout, and she's been great. Who has my complete and total endorsement, okay? Lori has my complete, so vote for Lori. You're going to win. You're going to win big. Thank you, Lori. Great. Great job. North Carolina State GOP Chairman, Jason Simmons. Jason, thank you, Jason. Good job. Good job, Jason. And I introduced him, but RNC Chairman Michael Whatley done a fantastic job. Thank you. Really good. He better win. Oh, if he doesn't win. I'm saying He's so great. He's great, great, great. If he doesn't win, I'll be saying, get rid of that guy. Nah, we'll never say that. I think you're doing great. The numbers so far are amazing. The fake news is order, but we don't care. The only thing that matters is November 5th, right? So we don't care what they do now. But even they are concerned. They say, this is not looking good. You know, normally you'd say they mean these numbers are looking incredible, actually, in every state, not just here, in every state. They know what I mean. And I'm very proud to have my beautiful daughter, Tiffany, here with her husband, Michael. And they're going to have a baby, a beautiful baby. Two good people, too. And a great developer in New York and Florida and elsewhere, one of the greatest businessmen in the country, Mr. Steve Witkoff. Steve? Thank you, Steve. Great job. Thank you. Great guy. Former head of the Small Business Administration, who, by the way, went to school here. She has to be, she has to be the most successful person ever to graduate from this beautiful place. It's beautiful. Linda McMahon, I could tell you about her for days. She went here, right? And you loved it. I said, do you like it? She said, I loved it. Otherwise, I wouldn't tell you that. And a man that you heard speak, and he's a great patriot, and he's a talented guy, went to Harvard, did very well. It's not as good as the Wharton School of Finance, but that's okay. But he's been a tremendous voice against China, and we have nothing against China. We just want to be treated fairly. And Peter's one of the few people that really understood what was happening. Peter Navarro. Peter, wherever you are. Peter. Hi, Peter. I heard Peter. I said, he's doing well. I didn't get to see you, but now I see you. Good. Good job. Good job today. Good job forever. He was a strong voice on what you and I believe in, right? He was great. And again, I want to thank Elon Musk for doing such a great job. He's now campaigning for us in Pennsylvania, so that's pretty good. So here are the facts. Kamala Harris is a radical left Marxist, rated even worse than Bernie Sanders or Pocahontas. You know who that is. She destroyed our economy. She was an original creator of Defund the Police. Can you believe that one? The movement that is such a disaster, and anybody who wants to defund the police even for one day is not worthy of being president of the United States, the way I look at it. Kamala Harris vowed to abolish ICE. You know what that is, ICE? These are the toughest people, and they go into these gangs, and they go fists swinging, legs swinging, and they come out 2 minutes later, and they take them out of our country. They are rough people we're dealing with, but ICE is incredible, and they love our country. She wanted to get rid of ICE. They want to take them out. Who's going to do it? Who's going to do it? She's not going to do it. She vowed repeatedly to ban fracking. She said, as California Attorney General, she redefined child sex trafficking, assault with a deadly weapon, and rape of an unconscious person as totally nonviolent crimes. Can you imagine? She pledged to confiscate your guns and endorsed a total ban on handgun ownership. Oh, by the way, if you like guns, you can forget her. She's going to do it 100%. She even called for free sex changes for illegal aliens in detention. Think of that. They're in detention at taxpayer expense, sex changes. They're in detention. They want to have the operation, and by the way, aside from all the other problems, it's a very big and expensive operation. And then, of course, you saw that yesterday. She lied about working at McDonald's. That's a pretty bad. And on top of everything else, Kamala wants to turn our military woke. Watch this.
Right now they're showing a clip of the movie Full Metal Jacket. This is that part in the program which we have to mute and we can't show because it's copyright material, that movie. And then the other part of what he's showing right now are certain transformers that are in our military who happen to basically do a quick change and go from a private in the army to looking fabulous. And there's like 4 or 5 people that he shows. And if I showed that, then the people upstairs don't like it. They don't like us showing things that these people are putting on film themselves. Think about that. They're putting it on film. They're showing themselves making the quick change. But if we talk about them making the quick change, then they get pissed off at us and say we're, making fun of them and everything else. So we can't do that. So those two things together, when he gets to this part of the show, the program, I can't show and I can't play the audio that goes along with it. But if you've seen the video, I've posted it in our forum, which I just got told we just hit over 5,000 people who have joined us. Fantastic. If you haven't gotten there, get in there. Okay, he's getting ready to talk again. All right. Or is he still? Nope, he's still watching the video. It must make his blood boil to know that's where our military has gone. Absolutely. It would make my dad's blood boil if he was still here. It's awful. Absolutely awful. Trump's back.
So just remember, we won 2 world wars with that kind of stuff, right? We won 2 world wars. We don't want to be woke, and we're not going to be woke. And our military is not. When they knocked out ISIS, there was nothing woke about them. You could put them in a woke cage for 2 years, they'd come out fighting. They're not woke. Only the top few people, they're woke. They're woke. And they'll be gone fast. But in conclusion, with your vote this November, we are going to fire Kamala Harris. We're going to save America. And we're going to restore the greatness of our nation for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. With your support, we will cut your taxes, end inflation, slash your prices, raise your wages, and turn the United States into the manufacturing superpower of the world. It'll be very quick. We will build American, we will buy American, and we will hire American. I will end the war in Ukraine. I will stop the chaos in the Middle East, and I will prevent World War III. Nobody else is going to do that. We have never been closer. We will crush violent crime and give our police the support, protection, resources, and respect they so dearly want and deserve. We will strengthen and modernize our military. We will build a missile defense shield around our country, all made in the USA, including a place called North Carolina. And we will land an American astronaut on Mars. And before I go too further, some of my favorite people are here. These women, finally, and a couple of them right here. I don't know why you get these primos. I guess they're the bosses. These women have seen 259 rallies. This isn't even rally. This is a little get-together. Can you imagine? You have 9,000 people on a Monday afternoon, and we call it a little get-together. They come from North Carolina. Look at them. They come from North Carolina, and they come out to California. They go to Texas. They're happily married. I don't know how the hell that works. They're happily, they have great husbands, but they are happily married. You're going to have to tell me about that. But these are the greatest, most beautiful women, and they've seen it a lot, and they never get tired of hearing the truth, ever. They never get tired of hearing the truth. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We will rebuild our cities, including our capital in Washington, D.C., making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. We will teach our children to love our country, to honor our history, and to always respect our great American flag. We will get critical race theory and transgender insanity the hell out of our school. We will keep men out of women's sports. I will defend religious liberty. I will restore free speech, and I will defend the right to keep and bear arms. After years of building up foreign nations, defending foreign borders, and protecting foreign lands, we are finally going to build up our country, defend our borders, and protect our citizens. And we will stop illegal immigration once and for all. It will be stopped. We will not be invaded. We will not be occupied. We will not be conquered. We will be a free and proud nation once again, and it will be very soon. Everyone will prosper. Every family will thrive, and every day will be filled with opportunity and hope in the American dream. But for that to happen, we must defeat Kamala Harris. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? And stop her radical left agenda with a landslide that is too big to rig. Early voting is underway. Get everyone you know and vote. After all, and remember this, all we've been through a lot together, haven't we? Huh? We suffered for 4 years. For 4 years, we suffered. Our country suffered. We stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. That's what's going to happen. With your help, from now until Election Day, we will redeem America's promise. We will put America first, and we will take back the nation that we love. We are one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. We will never give in. We will never give up. We will never back down, and we will never, ever, ever surrender. Together, we will fight, 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 and we will win, win, win. That's what we're going to be doing. November 5th will be the most important day in the history of our country, and together, we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless you all.
All right, everybody, you heard Trump there. He went for, looks like, about almost 80 minutes and went through a bunch of things. Some things I took a note of, which you probably have heard as well. But I want to address one thing real quick as we're watching Trump leave. You guys have to understand, the fight that Trump is fighting is not him alone. We all have to have the same focus in the same fight. You know, I see a comment like this, and I usually don't bring them out because I don't want to embarrass anybody. But I see this, and it says, this is where I always get off when you won't take a hit for free speech. I'm not even sure what you mean take a hit. It's not like these people here allow you to do certain things and let you continue doing it. If we're going to be in the fight until such time as things change, we have to play by their rules. There's no taking a hit. Taking a hit means turn off, don't ever come back. So in addition to not wanting to do that, and in addition to not wanting to lose a business, it's stupid. What do you mean take a hit? Why don't you go into work right now and tell your boss to F off? Take the hit. How's it going to work out for you? How do I tell Robin? How do I tell Ashley? How do I tell the mods? Hey, listen, you know what? I felt it was pretty good that I was just going to take the hit. I was just going to tell the people upstairs, F off, y'all. I'm just going to do what I want. If you don't like it, too friggin' bad. Yeah, that doesn't work. That's why we need this guy back in office. We need to change the things that they put in place right after the jabademic. Remember, he was kicked off of Twitter. Robin was kicked off of Twitter. Thousands of people that I know were kicked off of Twitter when it was named Twitter. Now it's X. And now what we're seeing is people have a voice. The voices are enlarging. Elon Musk bought Twitter and turned it into X. And the media is absolutely wigging out. They don't like the idea that people can talk. As he said, they won't even turn around and show what's on the video screens. And I didn't know until just now that he didn't know that. It makes perfect sense. He's on stage. There's all kinds, thousands of people around him. They're cheering. He's talking. He's looking at teleprompters. He's ad-libbing. He's staring straight ahead like he's supposed to. And he doesn't know that they're not showing what's on the video screen. And so I've been covering Trump for quite some time, almost every single one of his rallies. And this was the first time tonight that he basically acknowledged the fact that, what do you mean they're not showing my stuff on the screen? A friend of his had to tell him, hey man, when you cut to those videos, they don't cut with you. Now, the thing I don't understand, and maybe this is another part of the change, maybe Trump needs to start his own network. Maybe he and Elon need to get together and say, you know what, we're going to hire a camera crew, and we're going to cover your rallies. I mean, granted, we only got 2 weeks left, so that's another story. But I'm surprised. I've been surprised the entire time that there hasn't been a Trump TV network because of all of the things that they don't do. They don't show the crowd outside. They don't show the overflow. They don't show people coming in, how packed it is. These are all things that I think, as you saw with the McDonald's video, how many people don't get to see that? It's not shown on the news. They will not show it. And they just wait for him to say something wrong. They just hope that he's going to say something wrong. And so they can publicize that. I mean, those of you who sat and watched, I forget which, the Rolling Rock. Where is that? Not Lancaster, the other one. When he was out, where, I call it Rolling Rock. It was in Pennsylvania. But when he talked about Arnold Palmer. Man did a 2-hour speech, and the only thing Jake Tapper wanted to talk about was that 15 seconds that he talked about Arnold Palmer's you-know-what. It's absurd. They don't want to do news. Let them expire. Let them go away. At this point, they are wigging. We don't need them. And the only reason we do need the platforms is because there aren't any other places to basically get the word out. So temporarily, yeah, myself and many other people have to watch what we say in order to even bring you this stuff. Otherwise, click, 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 they just start turning everybody off, and there will be no more word. The media's not covering it. Maybe Fox comes in and takes us, a couple seconds or whatever here or there. ABC, nope. CNN, nope. They're not covering it. And it's amazing because they have, if you've never been to one of the Trump's rallies, the cameras are there, but they're only, and they may record the entirety of the 2 hours, but they're only looking for a snippet. Just something they can put in front of Joy Reid or Jake Tapper where he said, oh my God, he said Kamala's stupid. And that's what they'll use something like that. Like, oh my God, he made fun of the Transformers in the military video. And I guess today, he didn't know. He didn't know at all. Selective censorship, the media is disgusting. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So the more we can do some stuff, we can get it. Barry, my account is also suspended, and I have no clue why and can't seem to get any answer to why. If your account was suspended prior to Elon taking over, it is best at this point just to start a new one. I know it sucks. I remember Robin had something like 18,000 followers, and I had to tell her, I'm like, Robin, who knows what they've done to that account? Who knows where they've buried it in code? Elon doesn't have the time to dig in and find out where your account is. Just start a new one, honey. And so then she took one of my old ones, and so she's using that. So at this point, all I can suggest to you, if you've been suspended or you've been banned, just go ahead and try to use another one. Use a different email address. Use a different phone number. Don't tie the two, because the code will find the two email addresses or the two phone numbers, and then you'll have problem. And then make sure you have backups in case something happens. Like whenever I show you the stuff that I'm talking about on X, I don't know if any of you have noticed. Probably not. But let me just show you. I take my own medicine. This account is an old fanfare account. So I use my own personal account on X, but this was an old one that I created a long time ago, as you can see, in 2014. So this is a backup account. So if anything ever happens, if I get taken off for some reason, I've got a backup. And I've got like 4 or 5 of them. Different phone numbers, different email addresses, whatever you need to do, do that. That's what I can suggest to you. I can't change my phone number. Sure you can. Sure you can. Come on, be a little bit, think. If you have a Google account, you have a Gmail account, there's this thing called Google Voice, and it gives you a different phone number, and you can get a couple Google Voice numbers. Yeah, there you go, light bulb's going off. Oh, yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, Google Voice, all kinds of different ways. We could use a different feed or RSB. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's sort of like inviting somebody to your house. If you invite somebody to your house and they burn down something or do something to one of your guests, you are still responsible. You're going to get sued. Well, it's the same thing here. I can use any feed I want, but if they want to do something, then they can come after me. Barry, that is what I had to do because I was suspended. Yeah. Some of those things, I mean, you have to imagine what all the stuff that Elon Musk is doing, and he's basically siphoned down the team. I doubt they're working on stuff that got suspended in 2019 and 2020. So that stuff is gone. It's part of the ether. Don't even sweat it. Just start over. I know it sucks. Some of you guys had good followings. Like I said, Robin had a good following. It's gone. It's just it's gone. Excuse me. Yeah, lots of call apps out there. There's so many. You literally can. I mean, Twilio, Ring Central. There's so many ways, and those are paid. But there's so many ways you can get free phone numbers. Free phone numbers are never going to be an impediment for you. Barry, the 8 a.m. early voting we went today had lines wrapped around the outside of the building. Awesome. Robin gets home. Actually, that's why I have to cut short. I got to clean up the house because she's due back here in about an hour before we go on for our 6 o'clock show. So I'm going to have to cut, get out there, put on the apron, take out the dog, feed the dog, and I got to do some vacuuming and cleaning because I've been like the married bachelor for like the last 5 days. I got to take the blankets off the couch and shake it out because the dog, his hair, you know what I mean. And then I got to go in the kitchen because I was a slob out there too. So before she walks in, oh, it looks perfect. Oh, honey, I left it. It was just the way you left it. That's me. Before we go though, that guy was trying to bait you. I know he was. I know there's trolls in here who try to do it. Oh yeah, just do it, man. Yeah, just do it. Because they know they would then report it right away. So you understand this. When you guys are in conversations on X, here's my X tutorial for the day. If you're on X and you're having conversations and those conversations become adversarial and someone's poking at you and trying to get you to say something, bail. Bail and ban. They have an entire system out there, the left does, where they try to bait you into saying something, and then when you say something, then they flag it and report you and you get banned. Be very, very careful. That's why our forum is so good for us patriots. Where is that? What did I do with it? Where? I thought I had oh, here it is. Okay. Just go there, and I'll be showing you guys how to do different things on X. Go to fanfareshop.org/group, and that number is wrong. I have to get a new graphic because now we have 5,000 plus patriots in there. So my tip for the day is don't engage with idiots. Don't argue with idiots. You're not going to convert them. You learn your lesson right now. If there's a lesson that you can learn, is these people are gone. They're not coming back. There is no justification. There's nothing you're going to do to convince them. And you'll know who they are right away. You see some of the trolls in here. They don't care. Their only mission is to get you off your game. and hopefully you'll say something. You'll call him a name or something, and then, oh my God, I'm offended. My nipples hurt. This guy, look what he said here. Look at his tweet. Look what he said. Case in point, somebody said something in the group, and I can't even repeat the words what the person said in the group, and the algorithm picked up on that and said, should we ban this person, or do you want to, I only had two options. Do you want to ban him from ever posting again, or you just want to hide the post? I'm like, okay, we'll just click hide. He didn't realize it. Be very, very careful. And if people don't like that, then I'm sorry. We live in a world right now where they want to silence you. They're going to do everything they can to silence you. And God forbid she wins. Pray for that. Now I want to show you something else Trump had said, and because I'm sure the media will be saying, you know, Trump lied, it didn't happen. Well, he said on the New York Post, they talked about the Tres Leches Chihuahuas doing something in Times Square. Well, here it is. This is the New York Post. This is an article, as you can see the time here, was yesterday at 12:39. The Tres Leches scourge in Times Square caused by Harris and Biden policies, and the feds need to step in, ex-NYPD boss Ray Kelly is saying. Tren de Aragua has become the scourge of Times Square thanks to Harris-Biden's administration's lax border policy, and the feds need to swoop in to stop the ruthless migrant gang. How does this happen? I can't tell you. But if the feds need to do it, that's what the man is saying, all right? Kelly is a former Clinton appointee during the upheaval, blah, 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 and said that these people have now just moved in and they're looking to wreak havoc in New York City. And there's just a great picture of these guys that have just decided they're going to take that movie, The Purge, and make it real. I mean, just, it's amazing what is happening. And we've got Trump having a major event October 27th in New York City. So he was not lying. It was on the New York Post. I just showed it to you. It's right there. Don't forget Lake and Riley when you vote. Don't forget all this stuff. I mean, if you guys are... okay, but Tres Leches is a delicious... All right, so I won't call them Tres Leches anymore. My Cuban friends down here don't like it. So we'll come up with a different name for them. Reason I came up with that name is because I don't want the robots finding me using that name. I'm telling you, you have no friggin' idea how pissed off these guys get. When Trump talks, just to give you I don't know if you can even see this paper. I'm going to show you something. When Trump talks, you probably can't see it. Okay, I'm going to go in. I make timestamps. You see that right there? I make timestamps because based on those timestamps, I have to go in, and when I go in there, I have to delete what he said. See, I control what I say, but like I said earlier about inviting people into your home, I invited Trump into my theoretical home, and he says stuff. So I'm like, wait a second, he just said that. Oops, he just said that again. Oh man, he said this. And then I have to go, I basically stopped streaming. I have to wait an hour for it to basically process and everything. Then I got to jump in and delete those sections of what he said. When I'm telling you I have no idea what it takes to make sure we keep going here, you really have no idea. It's not over when I hit end. I still have a whole bunch of stuff to do, and as he's talking, and I'm glad I can get off the screen, I have to make timestamps as to, could that piss them off? Yeah, that might. Let's go ahead and delete that. It's that friggin' bad. It really is. It's crazy. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Yeah, we've got to change it. We have to. All right. So as I mentioned, I got to go clean my house. I know this is probably something she would do in maybe 15 minutes, but it's probably going to take me an hour. And then she's going to walk in, and then right when that happens, then we've got to get ready for the 6 o'clock show. 6 o'clock or 6:30. Just one more check on the poly market, because I kept checking, and she's just in big trouble. It's not going anywhere. Let me go ahead and hit refresh, and see what the numbers look like. She's done, man. She's done. She's done. This is why they're freaking out. This is specifically why they're losing it. They know she can't win. So they're going to try everything. So be ready. Let me go ahead and take the super chats, and then I've got to go clean the house before my baby gets back home. That should be a song. My baby gets back home. I got to go clean the house. I know. Some of you women are probably saying, well, you shouldn't have made it dirty in the first place. Yeah, I know, but I'm a slob. I'll own up to that. All right, Big Cat, thank you. Barry, these rallies, I think, are healing our nation dose by dose. I believe that, too. Somebody had asked me, why do you keep doing this when we know he said the same thing? Well, positive reinforcement. And I think we have seen him evolve as well. He's getting stronger. I noticed a number of people like, man, is he reverse aging? No, that's confidence. He's feeling it. He knows he has this. And you can just see in his demeanor and how he talks and how he's hitting his stories. He knows that many of them are the same thing over and over again. But then he'll interject. And that thing about the New York Post today, that was different. And then he also said something which you guys may have just let it wash over you, but he pointed out Tiffany and her husband, her Lebanese husband. That wasn't by accident either. So, he says things throughout the show that's a little bit, it'll say something different, like, oh, I haven't heard that one before. Craft Addict, thank you. Just another knucklehead, brother. Sorry I've been offline with you. Had family memorial service last few days. Oh, sorry to hear that, brother. But thank you. Ruth McCurdy, Trump worked with his maid in his hotel video on Manchester. YouTube has clips of it. Trump has always been real and humble. Yes. Remember, look up the Jennifer Hudson story if you don't know that. Kim Bush, Vince Everett Ellison has an X account. Lots of good info. Is his book. Okay. See, I don't, some people get pissed off when people promote. I don't care. You can promote. Okay. K. Rowe, 1.5 hours in line to vote early and in person in Florida this afternoon. Wow, that's awesome. Michael Clark, God bless what you do, Barry. Why does Kamala hate Christians? That's political suicide. Because she's a Marxist. If you've noticed them getting pissed off because Trump cracks jokes, it just amazes me that the people in the music industry don't understand what Marxism does to people in the entertainment industry. Heard any good Cuban artists from Cuba? I don't mean Cuban artists that came to America. Have you heard lately of any big Cuban artists that are in Cuba? How about any Cuban comedians? How about, think about that for a second. Pao Zhao and I meant that because it's similar, both religion and the arts. Pao Zhao where do the chats on the screen come from? The chats on the screen, as I'm watching the show, watching him talk, I'm also watching the various chats. And as I see them, as they're coming fast, I click on them and they just automatically populate. So it's people like you. Barbara, thank you. To Free the Butterfly, what is going on with China and Taiwan right now? I'm thinking that they figure they better do something before Trump gets elected. Ron and Jerry, love you, Barry, in your channel. Thank you very much. Kazan, just got done casting my first ever vote for Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. You go, boy. You go. Or woman. Lindsay, I would like your opinion on Amendment 5. I'll have to look that up because I haven't voted yet, so I will definitely look that up. And if it is what I think it is, hold on. Amendment 5 in Florida. Let me look at that in a second. And Tom Starkey, I told Mrs. that Barry said to grow a pair and learn to use X properly. Worked for me. I was able to make another X account. Boom. There you go. That's what I'm saying. So let me look up what Amendment 5 is because I don't even know. You want me to talk about it? Florida Amendment 5 is annual inflation for adjustment for homestead property tax. I'll have to read up on it. What would have been? Well, I mean, I don't want to hold everybody, but I'll read up on it and take a look at it. I can promise you that. All right, everybody. If you get a chance, go ahead and join us over in the group. I'm going to do a video tomorrow about what's going on with the 325,000 kids. And then we'll be back here in like 2 hours. So I'll talk to you then. Thank you very much.